I'll try to get you guys out of here by 5. It should be close, but thank you guys. Thanks everybody for coming. If you don't know, I'm Troy Cunningham. I'm your sheriff here, Bay County. How many are everybody's Bay County? Right, okay.
Awesome.
Thanks. I hate right now how this works because I know there's no sources to hear what's going on in your community or what's happening around you. So the time here with you, I greatly appreciate you showing up because, like I say, you don't have a newspaper anymore that you get, and it's just really hard to follow what's going on in your community. I know Collins got their newsletter that goes out, and that's probably what you heard with this. So thank you for that. My thing, I got a ton. I can go anywhere. I have a horrid problem with getting sidetracked, like just the way my brain works. And sometimes I'll like start talking about heroin or fentanyl or something, and I tell you a lot more about that than what you're here interested for. What I'd rather do today, if you got something that's on your mind, your agenda, questions you want to know about what's going on in your county, now's the time. You know, if I'm here. If I'm not hitting something you're interested in, but what I'm going to touch on today is one is going to be like neighborhood watch stuff. I'm going to explain what that is to us and what we're trying to do with it. And then I'll go over some of the problems we're seeing around. And then I'll also get on the scams and the fraud and the stuff like that. And then just ways to keep yourself safe. There's just some different things out there that people don't think about all the time that I guess in my world, because we live in it, we just kind of take it for granted that people know. If it bores you, if it's bad, leave, stop me, tell me this is terrible, move on to your next topic. You won't hurt my feelings. So just, I want to keep it where it's what you're interested in, what you want to hear today. So first thing I just want to explain is like, and I know this group probably understands this, but I'm your sheriff, and then we have deputies that work for me. Okay? So I truly have 103,000 bosses. You're all my boss. Everybody that lives in Bay County, you're my boss. And then under me, because of you, I have your deputies. And that's who you guys would see that would come out and take a call. The only reason I say that is I don't laugh. That's a way wrong way to say this. But like a lot of times people will come up to the front lobby and they ask for me. They need to see the sheriff. And I'll go up there and they're like, we need you to take a report. You know, our neighbors are blowing mulch onto our yard. And I'm like, you, A, didn't need to drive down here. We will send a car to you. And then B, I'm like, that's not what I do. A deputy would come out and take that complaint. You know, and if you need something written. So that's deputies, right? Every county has one sheriff. We got 83 counties in Michigan. Then we have the state police. They'll have their post commander, and then you have your troopers that are out there. So does anybody live in Bay City? Okay. So if you're in Bay City, then you have Caleb Rowell. He's your director of public safety, and he has his officers, so they could go in the city. But how dispatch will work with you, and I just came from a 911 meeting this morning, but if you dial 911, not your group, but most people that get irritating, if you are close to a senior age, they don't want to call 911 because they don't want to bug the fire chief. They don't want to bug the sheriff's department. You're paying for us. Bug us. We are there for you. That's what our job is. And they won't, I tell the story, but I had a couple that was in their late 80s, both of them, and they came down and I went up to the lobby and they're like, you know, our neighbor was chasing his wife with a knife in the backyard. And I'm like, why are you here? I mean, good, you got to wait and you're safe, but I'm like, why are you here? And they're like, well, we didn't want to call 911 and, you know, bug you, because that's for, you know, it's not like he's dead yet or got stabbed. But I thought, no, that's absolutely, you know, call if you see something that's suspicious or something that's out there. So the young generation has no problem with it. And I always make the joke. I mean, they'll call 911 to try to find their parents on their way home from work to get pop. You know, we're out of pop and we can find my mom and dad. And it's just a huge difference. It is yours. Be comfortable with it. Call. And I joke around a lot. I think I'm funny. Steve will say maybe not. But there is no worse feeling than being scared. I hate it. Everybody hates it. I mean, when you're scared, that is a horrid, horrid feeling. And I don't want residents in Bay County to feel scared. And I sure don't want you to be scared to dial 911. But I also try to tell people like suspicious. What's suspicious today? You know, back when I was growing up, people didn't carry backpacks. You know, if somebody's walking down your road at 11 o'clock at night with a backpack, you're like, he's up to something. You know, there's something going on. That just didn't happen. Today, everybody's carrying backpacks. So, you know, it could be a kid that was spending the night at his friend's house and is leaving there, walking back home because he had a bad dream, and he's just got his backpack walking on down the road. That's not something we'd call 911 for. But if you're vigilant, you're paying attention, you're watching him, and all of a sudden he's hanging around her house for a while by the driveway or walking up there and coming back or pulling on a car door, suspicious, call. Even if he didn't get in the car or take anything, we want you to call. Because so many people have their cars broke into, I'll guarantee you one side of this room has had their cars gone through. Or at least your door handle pulled on. That's one of the biggest things we're seeing in Bay County right now is these kids are going around and these adults or people that are on some of these drugs and they'll pull on your door handle. And they try to get into your car to see if you got change or if you got anything they can sell that's easy that they can take. And part of what we're going to talk about in a little while is you'll make your house Fort Knox. I mean, you'll get deadbolts, and we'll have all this stuff on. We'll have everything shut, locked up tight, deadbolts, alarm systems, and everything else. But you'll go to bed and leave your car unlocked. And all I got to do is open that door handle and reach in and just hit the garage door opener, and I've just opened up everything you're trying to keep safe, right? So being vigilant, knowing what's around and in your surroundings with your safety is what this is kind of going towards. And this is where we're going with like the neighborhood watch thing. This is going to shock you, but a lot of people don't want to be police officers anymore. He's going to laugh today.
That's not shocking.
No, the way, and that's what it is. It's the way the community is. It's just, or the whole temperature of the world right now. People aren't signing up to be police officers anymore. They're not signing up to be paramedics. They're not being firefighters. That stuff every month now has just kind of gone to a whole different pendulum, and until it comes back, it's hard. So your sheriff's department, for probably 3 years, we were 8 deputies low. We had no applications. We had jobs we could fill. They were there at one point, and just nobody was applying, and you couldn't hire. And 8 is a lot of police officers for our community. And we were just down. And so it's starting to come back. It's built up. Bay County's done some stuff where our Board of Commissioners and that have changed some things where we're starting to get some more officers. But we're still, as of today, down like 3 cars. And I want to just, before I get into neighborhood watch, because that's where this will go with this part I'm saying, but with us being low like that, Bay County's 442 square miles. So we're a big community, a big county. We have what's called a general car. And the general car, if you're a general car deputy, you can travel everywhere in Bay County. We have one assigned to each of our day shifts. Our guys work 12-hour shifts. We have one car on that's a general car, generally. That's kind of a fun way to say that. But there's one usually. So the townships, like your supervisor on that, there's contracts like Cawcolin puts out. And Cawcolin's got a great thing because you guys have 2 cars on. Every day, some deputy is touching a footprint into Cawcolin for at least, several hours, 60% I think is the lowest we go, where there's a car on in Cawcolin. But what people lose track of, for us that they don't understand, if that one car's here, and today we get a domestic violence call, a bad fight, a stabbing, or something else goes on, the general car has to come back them up. If that general car is up here in Cawcolin, it's nowhere else in that 442 square miles. State police are pretty good with us, but they're low on manpower, and out of the Tri-County Post, they'll usually have 1 trooper car assigned to Bay County for the day. So that's a big area. I mean, if you get a crash on the highway out here or something, you need 3 police officers. I mean, we use the fire department a lot. They're really good with blocking roads and doing stuff with their machinery. But generally, you got a cop shutting down one lane, another cop shutting down another lane, and another cop there to right the accident. So that takes 3 right out of the equation. So looking at all this stuff in the shortage, we're trying to figure out what to do. And so I thought, like everything else, let's blame somebody else. So I blame you guys. No, we've asked you guys for help, and where that is, and that's what Mike has been huge with me for years talking, and your supervisor, Mr. Eddie's been big on this with us. Is neighborhood watch stuff? It's just neighbors helping neighbors, basically. And as goofy as this might sound or seem, with these signs, from talking to inmates and talking to people, we know people break into houses because it looks easy. It's dark outside. It's dark at your house. You're not leaving lights on. Or it doesn't look like anybody's there. You talk to the bad guys that we've dealt with, when they see alarm signs or when they see stuff like this, I might not be home, but if that's in my window, and somebody comes down the road, and all of a sudden they see my neighbors have one, and the other neighbor has one, our goal is that they're going to think like, I don't know if they're watching, or if she's watching, or he's watching, or something. Maybe I'll go hit a different area. And they move on. And that's our goal. It's just one thing to put out there that doesn't hurt anything. Just having that in your front door, like, hey, I'm a neighbor that cares about my other neighbors, and if you are out here screwing around, we are looking for you, and we will dial 911. You know, we're going to call. And that's kind of the goal with Neighborhood Watch. I always say, because you always get questions, I don't need you to go running outside. You know, I don't need you to grab your shotgun and go out there and hold them until we get there. We don't want to put any of our residents in harm's way. And it's not that you couldn't. You know, all of you are just as good as what we are with what we do. We go to things, and I mean, we're wearing bulletproof vests. We've got gun belts on. We've got tasers. We've got radios, and we're going to call, and we can get a lot of people there. It's not that anybody's not good enough to do what we do. It's just, you're not wearing bulletproof vests, are you? Most people aren't like that. We go to things looking for an armed confrontation. That's kind of the difference. We just need your eyes. We just need you to be keeping an eye on your road, your neighbors, and just keeping each other safe and watching out for stuff. And this is absolutely 100% a deterrent. By putting these in your windows, or if you can take them or your family does in that, nobody's sagging, all right? Midland? And I'm real safe. My goal is push them out of our county. You know, just make it look like we're all taking care of each other, watching each other, and that's the goal, right? I mean, you want good neighbors. You want your neighbors watching your house and stuff. So with that, with Neighborhood Watch, kind of explaining the deputies, the only other thing I want to say, and I'll move on because it's not relevant for this, 911 dispatch, in my opinion, is probably the hardest job in the world. I don't know how they can do that. I give those people all the credit in the world. Because to be able to take a call from somebody who's having the worst day of their life and maybe losing a loved one or something, and you know, they're trying to deal with that and try to tell somebody how to do CPR. And then you have the sheriff, the fire chief on, what were the crossroads again? Where are they at? What are they doing now? Asking 9,000 questions. And they're sitting there trying to get somebody through the worst day of their life. I don't think those people get enough credit. So I like to say that every time because they do a heck of a job. But with that, with dispatch, the other thing, all your cars, all your sheriff cars have AVLs in them, which show us where they are, how fast they're driving, how long they sit somewhere. That's out there. And dispatch sees that. In dispatch, and I guess I do want to talk about that for a minute, there's a whole bunch of different councils in there. So somebody's running a fire board where they're just dealing with EMS and Mr. Bernrider. Another dispatcher's working with the sheriff department and the state police. Another one's over there working just with the city police. Then they got one that runs lean, looking for people they have warrants or whatever else it is. But every one of them is super, super capable of doing each other's jobs, and they can take any call. Only reason I tell you all that, when you do call 911, they're not all always busy at the same time. They have time to take your call, they have time to listen to what you have, and they have time to dispatch police, fire, EMS, whatever they need to send out. So that's kind of how the board works, and so they can look up. And if you live in the county, I mean, if you're in the city, primarily you're going to get city police. If you're out in the county, though, they're going to look and they're going to say, like, oh, hey, there's a sheriff car close by, or oh, there's a state trooper close by, and they're just going to call that car. So it saved time with responses. They still prioritize calls, you know, if it's a real big priority, somebody's really in danger, that's gonna get answered before yours and stuff. And then if we want donuts or we're eating, I mean, it's gonna take a lot longer. That was a bad joke again. Just making sure. So that, does Neighborhood Watch kind of make sense, what the goal is there?
Going back to that, you talked about the differences between the older people and the younger people. I've seen statistics out there now that like only 20 to 30% of people know their neighbors anymore.
That's people are scared, and people are jerks today. You know, I mean, there's no good way to say it. People don't, it's not like it used to be where you took care of your neighbors, you knew your neighbors. You know, now we're more concerned. I, as you can tell, being sheriff, obviously all my neighbors know that, and I go home and just probably, I don't know, it was the warmer day we had a couple weeks ago. There's a kid up, he's got a helmet on. He didn't have knee pads, elbow pads, whatever else. But he's got a helmet on. He's on one of those little scooters. I'm on a cul-de-sac. I mean, we live in a subdivision. I'm on a cul-de-sac. And my neighbor's out, and we're just talking about other stuff. He's like, look at this, just, you know, riding right down the sidewalk. And I'm like, is that bad? Is it bad? I mean, you think about what we did when we were little. We didn't know what a helmet was, and we didn't really care where we were riding. And there weren't, you know, street lights came on, you kind of went home if you were going to eat dinner or whatever. But I thought, I would rather have that kid out here like that, and he might fall, skin a knee or something, but he's not in the basement playing Xbox, or being some tough badass playing, you know, keyboard cowboy with the Facebook or something else, and Instagram and all that stuff they're into, or Snapchat, and it's just, I kind of enjoyed, you know, and it was, and when I said that, he kind of laughed. He's like, yeah, no, it's good to see, you know, and it was good, but I could tell at first it's like, I was like, you want me to just like go tackle him right now and take him back to, I mean, he's doing nothing. If he hits a sprinkler or something, hey, call me, but it's just fun watching that today.
Can I add the 911?
Sure.
I did medical dispatching on that up in Saginaw. And if you can give the cross streets, that's a wonderful thing. Staying calm is even better. And details, as much details as possible is the greatest. You know?
Well, and thank you, because you're right. And I just, like I said, I was talking to Ryan Gale, who's our director before, and I don't mean this the way this seems to sound, but I mean, you know, when you're calling dispatch, you're asking for a police car, you're asking for a fire truck, you're asking for EMS. That's kind of their thing, and that's pretty much what they should be doing, is sending them. But like she said, the longer you can stay on the phone with them, the more information you can give them, the easier it is for us to find them.
Callback number too, in case they have to call you back and everything.
And when you leave tonight and you go home, or today, it really won't be tonight, I'm sorry I said that. But when you leave today, when you go home, look at your house and see if you can find it. Is it marked good? You know, where does it say your address? Because that's another thing, when we're driving and you're coming through, you're looking, I mean, we can kind of tell, and you know the roads in special, smaller area, but you got a lot of new people. It is a big county. I mean, if they can hit the roads, but they start driving, we're like, what, I go by it, do they go up this way, or are they going down? I mean, they're training that a little bit. To her point, the more info you can give them, the better. The other thing is, and it just, that's what today I talked to him a little bit about, is staying anonymous. Dispatch is going to know who you are. In today's world, people get so freaked out on what information's out there and stuff. Google your name.
Oh, yeah.
You know, your house is coming up. We're going to find out. I can tell what you paid for taxes. That today, the security of all that has kind of gone away. So how can we protect it as much as we can? That's something we look at. But with dispatch, if you say, hey, you know, there's some kids